The Dalai Lama faces Beijing, a fight over rebirth and Tibet's destiny. Hong Kong CNN. As we look back over the past century, the Dalai Lama has stood as a symbol of Tibet's quest for freedom under the influence of China's Communist Party. Living in exile, he's managed to keep this cause alive even as Beijing's grip on the region has tightened. Now, just before he turns 90, the revered spiritual leader of Tibetan Buddhism faces a crucial challenge: the control over his rebirth. Earlier this week, the Dalai Lama declared that his successor will be recognized by his office exclusively, asserting that this tradition will continue beyond his lifetime. In a heartfelt message to spiritual leaders gathered in Dharamsala, India, his hope in exile, the Nobel Peace Laureate emphasized that his role will persist. Reincarnation holds a sacred place in Tibetan Buddhism. Unlike other beings who are reborn according to karma, a high spiritual figure like the Dalai Lama is believed to consciously select the circumstances of their new life, driven by compassion and a desire to help the world's creatures. But the decision about the Dalai Lama's next incarnation has grown into a pivotal matter for Tibet's future, carrying significant political weight across the Himalayas. Thupten Jinpa, the Dalai Lama's trusted translator, remarked, "He has been like a rock for us all, uniting and guiding us." He also pointed out to younger Tibetans, "We often rely on this strong foundation, but when it's gone, what will we do?" In his newly published book, the Dalai Lama indicates his successor will emerge in a free country outside China, urging followers of Tibetan Buddhism to dismiss any candidate nominated by Beijing. However, the Chinese Communist Party claims it solely has the authority to choose the next Dalai Lama and all other important reincarnations in Tibetan Buddhism. This assertion raises serious concerns. Can an openly atheist government control such a spiritual custom? Beijing labels the Dalai Lama a separatist and accuses him of inciting protests and unrest. In contrast, the Dalai Lama insists that he only seeks true autonomy for Tibet, not total independence, a stance that has earned him global support and a Nobel Peace Prize. For many Tibetans, the Dalai Lama embodies their identity, an identity they strongly feel is under threat from Beijing's efforts to suppress it. Yet, the outcome of the Dalai Lama's passing might present a complex challenge for the Communist Party. Younger Tibetans living in exile have voiced a growing desire for full independence, influenced by a sense that the middle way principle he espoused seems overly accommodating to China. When the Chinese troops entered Tibet in 1950, the young Tenzin Gyatso, 14th Dalai Lama, was just 15 years old. He assumed political power early to guide the Tibetans during the impending occupation. While Beijing insists it liberated Tibet from oppressive rule, many Tibetans continue to look back on it as a violent occupation. The events of the 1959 Tibetan uprising, provoked by fears of the Dalai Lama's abduction, are still fresh in the memories of those who survived the repression. After fleeing to India, the Dalai Lama established a government in exile in Dharamsala. Becoming a symbolic representative for Tibet, his presence has helped shape a strong national identity, one that Beijing has tried to undermine by co-opting local religious authorities and promoting its own narrative in Tibetan religious life. One poignant example is the case of the Panchen Lama, second only to the Dalai Lama, who was chosen by Beijing and consistently positioned as supportive of China's policies. This maneuver has led to questions about whose religious influence will prevail in the face of potentially two rival Dalai Lamas. The Dalai Lama has made it clear that any candidate appointed by Beijing will not be recognized by Tibetans or Tibetan Buddhists. He humorously pointed out that China should first attempt to identify the reincarnations of historical leaders like Mao Zedong before trying their hand at religious matters. Tibetan Buddhism regards the Dalai Lama as an embodiment of the bodhisattva of compassion, choosing rebirth to aid humanity. The selection process involves a blend of spiritual insight and sacred customs, which sometimes leads to the identification of new Dalai Lamas outside Tibet. As the search for the next Dalai Lama commences, will global Buddhist communities support the choice of the Dalai Lama's office in exile, or will they be swayed by China's influence? As we reflect on these pivotal discussions, what do you think? Could this struggle for spiritual and political authority redefine the future of Tibet? Share your thoughts below.